What if the future is not so far a projection as you've always thought? What if the future is a developing script of your life and you are the living proof? What if the future is this very moment and you are living in it? The uncertainty of the future bedevils your very existence. Yet every day you wake up, shake up, and make up. Time is not on your side, except the wristwatch on your wrist by the side. Yet you stall and stand tall, knowing that to see the future, you must stay alive. No one dictates the future better than you. The future is yours to determine. Call the shots.
Arrant, arrant, arrant.
Thanks for dropping by.
You know, they say if Monday don't excite you, then change your profession. I am so excited, of course, to do what we love, of course, to be back here again. First of all, let me say Happy New Week. Let me also apologize for the late entry. It was due to some technical issues, but I'm so glad that we are back and here to give you what you love to do best. That is entertain you, educate you, and inform you. Welcome to the Breakfast Cafe. I am Olumide Shokoy. Of course, I'm not flying in solo. I have Vivian Oguche. Good morning.
Hi.
How was your weekend?
Awesome, awesome. Olumide, what was that line again? The thing about Monday.
If Mondays don't excite you, change your profession.
I like it. I like it. And I'm so glad Monday excites me. I love my profession. So Monday excites me. It's so good to be here this morning. And like Olumide said, I am Vivian Oguche. You know, this show is all about you. Without you, there is no Breakfast Cafe, right? So just tighten your seatbelt. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the major headlines on the national dailies. That's after this short break. Stay with us. Well, you're welcome back, and if you just joined us, this is the Breakfast Cafe right here on High Impact TV. This is a segment where we're going to take a look at the headlines on the national dailies, and I begin with The Guardian, shall we? All right, major headline says, FX execution hitches and threaten food waiver policy as farmers kick. Take a look at that, details of that page 6, but let me take it again. Forex exchange. Foreign exchange, beg your pardon, execution hitches and threaten food waiver policy as farmers kick. Let's see if we have one rider to that story. No, there's no rider at all. Olumide, this story is talking about one of the palliatives that the federal government came up with. Yeah. It looks like it's not going to happen. You know when they say something has K-leg? That's it. They are saying that FX, foreign exchange, is going to threaten or cause some hitches as regards this food waiver policy, and the farmers are kicking.
Yeah, of course, we've been always saying it. I don't know how, I've asked so many analysts how foreign exchange and all that is affecting everything that has to do with Nigeria. I once heard an expert say that CBN is actually supposed to regulate the exchange, but other analysts said it is very hard to do so because we buy most of the things we consume. So it's very hard to regulate the dollar exchange and all that.
We buy most of the things we consume. That's an anomaly. It is an anomaly, and it should be dealt with. Well, I got another story here right below that one on the front page of The Guardian. The unholy secrecy of NAS members' pay package. I like the caption. The unholy secrecy of the National Assembly members' pay package. Editorial page 15 has details. I see Olumide is gearing up for some comments on this story.
I mean, this is no secret. I mean, it's been on for a very long time. This National Assembly till today, people are still calling for the Senate President's salary. The Speaker of the House of Representatives said that they should release it. Let us see it. Yeah. We are only seeing the senators and whatnot. But what about the number 3 man and of course the Speaker of the House of Representatives? Well,
and Nigerians, they do have the right to demand for this information. They do,
yes. It's transparency. It's democracy. We put you there.
Absolutely. Well, let's continue to take a look at the front page of The Guardian. 2 killed in Abuja, shared police clash, bandits kidnap 150 in Sokoto. Oh my gosh, it's a black weekend. 2 killed in Abuja, shared police clash, bandits kidnap 150 in Sokoto. Page 6 has details of that story. We also have this one here. It says Serap asks governors. Yes, Serap asks governors and Wike to disclose details of Chinese loans. Serap asks governors, Wike to disclose details of Chinese loans. Right below that one, Atiku chides Tinubu over citizens' rights violation. That sounds like a juicy one. Go straight to page 7 for details of that story. Konjo Iweala asks politicians to stop weaponizing insecurity. Page 3 has details of that story. But man, this begs a question. Okonjo Iweala is alluding to the fact that politicians are weaponizing insecurity. That's a big deal.
It's good she's also speaking up. And some people, when they get high up there, they forget what's happening down below. But it's good. It's a good thing she's lending her voice. Absolutely.
This one says Enugu uncovers 2,640 ghost pensioners, begins payment of cancelled pensions. Tunisian president reshuffles cabinet, replaces 19 ministers ahead of election. And that wraps it up for us on the front page of The Guardian.
All right, quickly, let's move on to the Punch newspaper. The Punch has just about 3 stories, which I will take. The major caption here, coming from the Punch newspaper, let's see. All right, I have September rollout, President Tinubu panel, Dangote refinery brainstorm, and petrol pricing. We have just one writer to that story. It says President's committee and refinery to conclude talks on Naira crude supply and petrol pricing. I'll take that again, September rollout. So hopefully come September, Dangote refinery would start rolling out petrol. So I think they are brainstorming on petrol pricing. I hope that it will be below 600 naira that we start, or 500 naira that we started off with during this new administration. If you can get something of like 300 or 400, I mean, it's not bad if you have like 100 naira to 200 naira. I mean, it's not impossible. It's possible.
I'm just shaking my head.
It's not impossible. We could have it, but let's see how that goes. Just beside the masthead, we have two stories there. Let me take the first one. It says state oppose federal government 600 billion naira vote for 70,000 naira wage. So we still have some state opposing the 70,000 naira minimum wage. I was still asking over the weekend. I think I was asking a friend of mine a friend of mine who's a youth corps member, whether he or she has started receiving the 70,000 naira, and well, I didn't get a positive answer, so which means it hasn't started yet. All right, I have the last one here. It says flooding, Delta, Kogi creates IDP camps, and Anambra, Kwara warns communities. We still have flooding there. Well, I think the rains will be over in about 2 to 3 months. In the meantime, we can try as much as possible to gear up for what's left of the rain. But I think that's all we have right now coming from the Punch newspaper this morning.
Well, I've got the Daily Trust on the front page of the Daily Trust. This one says bandits abduct 150 in Goberu. Also, this one here says that IG hands over 20 rescued medical students to UNIMAID and UNIJUS VCs. Also here, Tinubu, others mourn as Emir of Ningi was buried amid tears. Court freezes 32 bank accounts linked to hashtag End Bad Governance protest. You get details of that story. Let's see now, page 38. Yes, on the front page of the Daily Trust, there's this burnt patrol vehicle. Let's see what's about. 2 cops, trader killed as police Shiites clash in Abuja again. The last time the police and the Shiites clashed, resulted, that was in Kaduna, it resulted to some serious fatalities. And we had, their head was incarcerated for a very long time, including his wife and all of that. And there's this police and Shiite clashes all over again. I do hope it's resolved. Let's see if we've got these riders. Okay, we've got them. Patrol vehicles burnt. That's the rider to the story I told you earlier. Groups members came with bombs. That's coming from the police. Last rider to that story now is coming from IMN, and it says policemen killed our members. So is the word of the Shiite against that of the police? Well, that wraps it up for us on the front page of the Daily Trust.
All right, the last newspaper we're moving on is the Vanguard newspaper, and it's greets us with a bold headline which says federal government yet to implement 2 months after, I beg your pardon, executive order on medicament. Federal government yet to implement 2 months after. I think we have just 3 writers to that story. Federal government still working on implementation framework 2 months after. This is coming from a particular minister. Delay not worth it. People are dying. This is coming from Oladigbolu. Now, government must progressively intervene in high tariffs. This is coming from Akintayo. And implementation details must be properly worked out. This is from Ifeanyi. You can get more of that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Just above the masthead, it says, just like Vivian read earlier on, court freezes 32 accounts linked to End Bad Governance protests. This is becoming a regular routine whereby people come during protest. After protest, they go after the protesters, freeze their accounts, incarcerate some of them. I mean, 4 years after, they're just releasing the NSAS, and some people are already in detention for the End Bad Governance protest. But when we get our analyst, we'll find out more from him. Federal government moves to eliminate malaria, picks Dangote or Tedola Elumelu to drive effort. That would be a beautiful thing to see in Nigeria. Malaria eradicated totally. Wow. It will be a very beautiful, and I'm glad that they got the biggest of the brightest of the best, or the best of the best stakeholders. I mean, Dangote or Tedola and Elumelu. I mean, that's enough powerhouse to drive whatever initiative they're planning to, and I hope it becomes fruitful. Now, beside that, we have Catholic bishops canvass regional governments ask Tinubu to fight hunger and graft. Nigerians hope for lower cement price. Dames. You get more of that story on page 32 of the Vanguard newspaper. I think I have just all right. I have there's a picture here. All right. It's I think His Majesty Ogiame. Okay, that's the Olu of Warri. Yes. I think it was during the conferment of the Royal Order of Iwere, distinguished award to Dr. Rone. All right, by the Olu of Warri. I think that's all we have right now coming from the Vanguard newspaper. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the second part of the newspaper review. Please stay tuned.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, "What a ride." High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Aren't. Aren't. Aren't.
Something big is in town. Something powerful and majestic. A mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet, Nigeria's biggest family theme park, with facilities designed for friends, families, or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart-racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart races. Don't forget to slide into the ice rink or simply take time out to enjoy a pizza at our delightful restaurant and dessert spot, or at the exquisite club lounge. High Impact Planet, 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo, opposite MFM Prayer City. Visit high-impactplanet.com for details and inquiries.
Well, it's so good to have you back. If you just joined us, this is the Breakfast Cafe right here on High Impact TV. And we have a surprise today. Guest analyst, media analyst, actually, Adeniyi Fetayo, is right here in the house with us for the second part of the newspaper review. Hi, Adeniyi.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to be here.
Yeah, you know, this is what we call a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It's so good to be here.
Yeah,
right, so let's delve into the papers. Yeah, let's take a look at this headline. You know, on the front page of the Vanguard, it says, just above the masthead, it says, court freezes 32 accounts linked to hashtag end bad governance protest. What's your take on this, though?
No,
32 accounts.
Yes, 32 accounts. Where for court to grant that such an order, and those who complained, maybe you know, Nigeria is battling with security issues, and there have been some agitation from some quarters, and some people are behind these so-called kidnapping, or whether end bad governance, they want to hijack it and all of that. So if I'm sure they still have, they will have their days in court to defend themselves, whether they're actually funding something that is not good. Of course, this kind of a thing, if in the normal climb, people, there's what they call GoFundMe. Oh, want to do something which is at the public domain, that okay, let's support you, let's support that. But if were to be an individual trying to bring down the government or cause chaos just to achieve his personal gain, I think they should all have their days in court, and maybe some of them by mistake, or some at least you have your days in court to prove your innocence.
Okay.
But don't you think, don't you see a pattern? Because I remember also NSAS protesters, their accounts too were freeze. So is this something like a pattern or a regular visitation of the courts?
No. Those one like GoFundMe now is very hard to say you want to, because it's a blockchain technology that nobody, you can't control it. I can't control it unless it's targeted towards me. So this kind of a thing, I'm sure, is an individual account. Maybe, for example, now, I'm sure you remember there was a time they are investigating NSA's office about 8 years ago, a diversion of over $2 billion, and they are saying that money was going to a carpenter, a fashion designer. What do you have to do with security? So those are the things I'm trying to say. So they should have their reason, and just like we were discussing before you came on there, if it was done wrongly, I think those people too should be penalized.
In fact, I think I understand what you're saying. Not too long ago, NLC chairman Ajeru was asked to come in for questioning because they said he was, quote unquote, linked to a terrorist, an international terrorist. Now, if you have information directly linked to you, you'll be asked for questioning. So, for example, the freezing of accounts is because these are individuals that own it. It's not like the GoFundMe thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but let's talk about Konjo Iweala in one of the papers, who said that politicians are weaponizing insecurity.
Yep.
She said politicians are weaponizing insecurity. In Nigeria, that's coming from Konjo Iweala.
Yeah, but someone speaking at that top level, I'm sure she won't be missing what. She'll have some information at her disposal. You know, it's just in this part of the world that it should be that once a president emerges, everybody should collide, whether they are structure or whatever. Country should come first. But when you want to, because you're a politician, maybe whether opposition or in the same party, you just want to cause chaos and weaponize insecurity, anything that's happening, how you can, you know, agitate it, you know, in making an incisive statement just to cause unrest and all of that. All those things should be checked, and just like I said, our security, they still need to do more proactive in information gathering and all of that. So I was listening to the war going on between in Gaza and Israeli, when Israeli was accused of shutting down an hospital. You know how they have that technology to get information. Why those Hamas, they were talking that, oh, we misfire, we mistakenly shot that thing, it hit the thing hit what's it called, an hospital. So that's what I'm trying to say, that those are the things they should have. You know, there are some information, once they are discussing something that can bring down a nation, an economy, that can sabotage peaceful coexistence. So you should raise a flag. They have the technology, they have everything. So if they can place no debit alert on your account, so they should be able to get some information and trace it. And of course, they should approach our Madam Kwejuala, who is the DG. Tell us more if you don't know, if you ask, because ignorance is such a big disease. Don't feel too pompous. If somebody say, I know this, someone at that level, I think they should also reach out. Please, is your country is our country? Help us. What do you know? We will treat it just like they say, whistleblower. Even though you might not want to collect the reward. Please, just blow small whistle for us.
All right, let's move your attention to Punch newspaper. The September rollout, Tinubu panel and Dangote, they are brainstorming to see how they can come up with a good petrol pricing. But my first question is, I know Dangote refinery were promised July, then it was moved to August, now it's September. First question, do you think that this September is actually fruitful? Will it come to fruition? And secondly, what about our own refinery, the Port Harcourt refinery? Do you see it coming to fruition this year?
I want to be optimistic because until last month, before we got to know that they are frustrating demand that put up the first private refinery, or in the largest refinery as we have it as of today. So now that it's coming to the open, Nigerians are interested, international community are interested, investors are interested. If you are doing this to your own, how do we show that our own investment will be protected or will be guaranteed? So, and the government want to come up playing, they want to make everything. So what are your issues? What are your grievances? Where can we meet so that we can move the nation forward? It's all about nation building, whatever that can be done to make sure that, especially that kind of product that, you know, our economy is tied around, whether refinery or petroleum product. Somebody who is selling granite will increase. Say, why now? I say because they don't increase fuel. Because he's saying that before she will go to market, maybe she only pay 200 naira, you know, as a transport fare. Now it has increased to 500 naira. So all those things will be spread across whatever condiment or commodities that she sells. So I think I'm being optimistic that they should come out with a logical conclusion so that they can roll out this thing. Now we have capacity. Let's make use of it. So it's not about partisan, whether it's in this party or that party, or it does not support me, it does not. It's just all about nations building.
What about petrol pricing? Do you see a decline like Nigerians have been hoping for? I remember we were told 400 naira, hopefully.
Yeah, there should be, because like now, most of the time that we refine a product, Nigerian will pay for forex, they will pay for transportation, they will pay for insurance, and when the vessel are leaving, they go back empty. So we are paying like it's not like you take you charter a cab, you take me to that place. He knows that when there's something they say, I'm going to blow empty when I'm coming back. So they will charge you ×2. But if there are other products, you are also selling to other nations, and this is an opportunity for us. Once they discharge or they bring whether crude oil or refined product, they can as well take refined product from maybe Dangote now and sell it to other countries. So that cost of refinery or shipping and all of that, it can be split into two, and it will snowball to reduction in pump price.
So Olumide's dreams might come true someday, that Nigeria
hopefully
will get to buy, Nigerians will get to buy petrol at 100, 200. That's why he said, I rolled my eyes.
100.
He said it earlier on. He said it's not impossible.
Everything is possible.
Absolutely. All right, so let's take a look at this one on the front page of the Vanguard. It says Catholic bishops canvass regional government, and they are asking Tinubu to fight hunger and graft. But my question is, you know, it's going to focus on the first part. Regional government. Now, remember the days of the Azikiwes, the Awolowo Wars, the Tafawa Balewas. Do you see us going back to that?
No. This politician, it's like taking power from them. It's like taking, you know, they are professional politicians. That's what they do. If it's not thriving in this party, they must find reason to move to this party. If it's not going well with this party, they must find reason they are not in power in this party. They are just professional politicians. So saying that going back to regional government, it will be very hard. But there might be hope if they make our parliament, parliament, if it is being run, you know, as a part-time Then as time goes on, we can say that, oh, since we can do this and it saves us some costs and all of that, let's talk about. But anything that doesn't benefit politicians, it's like taking a camel through the eyes of the needle. It's very hard to fly.
All right, before we go, I'd like to move your attention to The Guardian. It says Serap asks governors and Wike to disclose details of Chinese loans. I know with the whole jet season and all that, Serap is now asking that let's even know the loans we have from the federal government and even the governors. What's your thought about all this?
You know, if I may shock you that Nigeria does not know how much they are owing.
Wow.
Yes. You know, that was what happened in 2014, 2015. Remember Senator Prince Ned Nwoko, why he said while he was in the House of Rep in 1999, he asked Minister of Finance, you know, they will come to defend and say, how much is Nigeria owing? And the minister goes, you know, he started in 1960, we don't know this one. Wow. He said, and you are paying, let's say, 30 naira every month, and you don't know how much you are owing. He now said, he now did a letter to Mr. President that this country, they said, we are owing money. Give me a permission, go ahead, at no cost to the nation. Let me go and investigate. If peradventure we must have overpaid these people. Yeah. If I discover that they are being overpaid, whatever I retrieve back from them, I'll get 20%. If I didn't get anything, don't worry, it's at no cost to them. And the Mr. President Obasanjo gave him go ahead. The first tranche, over $12 billion, he got it 2014, 2015. That was when most of the money, the new administration of President Buhari,
yes,
used to pay some state government that finding it difficult, owing salary for about 8 months, 10 months, and all of that. You know, Paris Club refund the loan. Okay. So he said he got to some places, you know, maybe Gongola State was the one owing them. And Gongola State has been split maybe into 2 or 3. So both State A, State B, and State C, they are still paying back. In fact, he said he got to a place, he said he got a loan to build whether Jigawa hotel something. Those ones, the bank said no, there's no record of such.
Wow.
So you can see that it will be very, very difficult now to say this is how much Nigeria are owing. So if they can just, maybe this new one they got during the return of democracy, maybe they can, but it might be very difficult.
But how do you not know how much you owe? It's unheard of. Because
some people are benefiting from it. I just told you, they said they got a loan to build one, whether 3 or 5-star hotel in one of the northern states. And when the man, because of investigation, they said no, there was no record of such. So some people have been profiting from saying we are paying back the loan, just like the issue of fuel importation. You are talking about our refinery not working. Some people are benefiting from it. So just like Buhari said, when you try to fight corruption fights back.
Yeah, so our producer just said we have less than 2 minutes. But I was thinking maybe you could do justice to this in a minute. Like this story on the front page of the Vanguard is saying that forex exchange might threaten the food waiver policy as farmers kick. This is supposed to be a palliative to help lessen hunger in the land. And we are having this now. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's just a pity that sometimes if it's not favorable to, don't let me say the elite, especially the politicians, they want to frustrate the whole process. Yeah. So that's all I can say here. But just plead to them, let's just think about the nation first. Like former President F. Kennedy in his inaugural speech said, I don't think of what your country can give to you, think of what you can give to your country. I think our politicians should have that at the back of their mind.
And I think that's a very good place to land. That is a very good point you have made, and I think Nigerians need to, put that thing at heart. Think of what you can give back, not what your country can give to you. This is where we would call off the wraps on the newspaper review. Stay tuned, we still have a whole lot more. We'll be right back.
Sport Hub, where passion meets unparalleled excitement.
Mainu, oh, what a goal! The MMA champion!
Get set for the adrenaline rush of a lifetime as we bring to you the hottest highlight, the biggest stories, interviews, and the most thrilling moment from the world of sport. No matter what your favorite sport is, we've got you covered. From football to basketball, tennis, boxing, Formula One, and everything in between, we bring you the best from around the globe. Join us every Monday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Wednesday and Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on High Impact Television on Nikonsat 42 degree East. Sport Hub, the heart of action.
The future is now. Yes, I said it. Is there really a future? Or is it just a facade of hope created to make you less docile? What if what you call the future is every time you're alive the next second, every time you impact someone to live somewhere? What if the future is not so far a projection as you've always thought? What if the future is a developing script of your life and you are the living proof? What if the future is this very moment and you are living in it? The uncertainty of the future bedevils your very existence. Yet every day you wake up, shake up, and make up. Time is not on your side, except the wristwatch on your wrist by the side. Yet you stall and stand tall, knowing that to see the future, you must stay alive. No one dictates the future better than you. The future is yours to determine. Call the shots.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, "What a ride!" High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way. As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, There is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, what a ride. High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Welcome back. It's still the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. Don't forget that you can also watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. That's at High Impact Studio. Also, right now, we are moving on to Views from the Net. This is where we throw out a question and we get your response, your opinions, and your views about issues affecting the society. Don't forget, you can also call us at 08121820154. The number will also be displayed on your screen. So today's question is very simple, very straightforward. It affects every Nigerian. It affects everyone, not just Nigerians. Now, the question is, what is a bad financial decision? What is a bad financial decision? If you ask me, when I saw this question, what came to my head was Lakpo.
What? That's like taking money from a loan shark.
Loan shark, yes.
Okay.
For me, that's it's not even a bad. It's the worst financial decision because it never ends well. It has never ended well. So that's a bad financial decision for me.
So I'm trying to think, though, maybe investing in a business you don't know much about. I'm trying to think if I've even had if I've made a decision, a bad financial decision that backfired. I'm trying to think. Remind me later, but I can't come up with one.
I actually have made a lot of what are bad financial decisions. Sometimes it's a good decision. It's a good financial decision, but because of economic challenges, it becomes a bad financial decision. When prices start to go up. I remember I invested in so many things, and the cost started rising. I couldn't keep up. I had to just close down. So sometimes the situation can.
So you lost your money?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God, I'm glad you're laughing about it. Well, we've got this one here from Amaka. Amaka is writing us from JAS. She says, I think a bad financial decision is not having a clear understanding of one's financial goals and values. This can lead to mindless spending and poor investment choices, ultimately hindering long-term financial stability. That's from Amaka. In Jos, yes, Plateau State.
Yes, I have this one. This is Tunde from Lagos. It says, for me, a bad financial decision is investing in a business or asset without conducting thorough research and due diligence. This can lead to significant financial losses and damage to one's credit score. Yes, basically do your feasibility study. In every business or every decision, you do a feasibility study. Ask people in the business who have been in that business, who have been in that business for years, probably 10 years. Ask them questions. Go on Google. Do so many things. Do your research. Find out. Also, you need to also know your competitors, because no matter what business you are entering or what particular area you are entering, you have competitors. So you actually need to know what your competitors are selling, their selling point, and be able to coin out your own. I've heard so many experts say that if you're going into a business, you must have a very large sum of capital that can float you for at least 2 years without profit.
Yeah.
Float you for 2 years so that you are not worried. There's no pressure on, I have to make my profit back. You have to float yourself for 2 years.
Yeah. That's even depending on the business. There are, for example, if you are going to invest in broadcasting, you have to budget for like 6, 7, 5, 10 years of investment before you start thinking of profit. All right, I think you still have more from Tunde, or is that all?
Yeah, yeah.
All
yes,
right,
that's it.
let's see. I've got Queen. Olumide's Queen. Queen is writing us from Great Yabatek, and she says, I believe a bad financial decision is not prioritizing needs over wants. This can lead to overspending and accumulating debt, making it difficult to achieve financial freedom. So one should do a thorough checking on whatever decision or thing you're using your money on. Mind you, money they finish, so spend wisely. That's Queen from Great Yabatek.
I have this one, Ganyu from Egbeda. He says, in my opinion, a bad financial decision is not diversifying investment, leading to exposure to market fluctuations. This can result in significant financial losses and reduced financial security. I remember, I don't know where it was, Dangote or one billionaire said something that how he became rich was all the profit he made, he was investing again, investing. He wasn't spending profit. So once he makes that profit, he takes that profit, invest in something else. And that was how he was able to amass so many investments, so many wealth.
That takes a lot of discipline.
It is. It takes, I mean, not to spend your profit, it takes a lot of discipline.
Well, I've got Jude from Yabatek, and Jude says, I think a bad financial decision is buying a home or car that's beyond one's means. This can lead to financial strain and reduced savings, making it difficult to achieve long-term financial goals. Now, not only home, other things are including, I'm trying to make sense of this. Now, not only the home, other things are included. We should first know the meaning of our needs versus wants, because these two things are different. Once we know this, we know peace of finance. Peace of finance, that's a new one. Once we know this, we will know peace of finance and we will flourish. Jude from Yabatek.
I think there's another saying, people say you don't borrow, you don't take a loan to buy a car. It's better you take a loan to invest in a business.
Yeah.
You don't take a loan to buy your wants or your desires. You take it to invest, or probably invest more in an already established business, not to start up. Because these days, taking a loan to start a business in Nigeria, you know, where we have so many things, variables going up and down and all that. I mean, the FX alone, it gives people nightmares and all that. But let's move on. We have Ramat from Sulere. For me, a bad financial decision is not having adequate insurance coverage. Quite interesting. Including health, disability, life insurance or life assurance or life insurance. This can lead to financial ruin in events of unexpected events or emergencies. It's good we do these things, though they cost a lot. I like that, insurance coverage, because in other advanced climes, businesses are well insured, so that in case something happened unforeseeable, they have something they can fall back on. But these days, I'm not sure. Maybe for the big stakeholders, the big blue chip company, blue collar or blue chip companies, they have insurance. But for the SMEs, I hope that they insure their business, because it's very
essential.
necessary. It's essential.
Yes. I've got Shagun from Lagos, and Shagun says, I believe a bad financial decision is withdrawing from retirement accounts prematurely, reducing long-term financial security and potentially incurring penalties. That's a good one.
Well, it reminds me of that saying that these days it is your savings that save you.
Your savings that save you.
Yes. Savings is supposed to be meant for the rainy day or a particular project and all that. But these days, I find myself, falling back to my savings, and that's what's saving me sometimes.
Absolutely.
Let's move on. We have Amira from Kano. She says, in my opinion, a bad financial decision is investing in get-rich-quick schemes or pyramid schemes, which can lead to significant financial losses, damage to one's credit score. I think this has to do with cryptocurrencies.
Not just, you remember Olumide, one time there was something, okay, producer just said Bet Niger. You remember MMM?
Yes, MMM.
People,
There's some
Producer said bye-bye, Jebu.
Yes, most of these most Nigerians, we like that get rich. So we play lottos, we play sport bets, we play so many things.
Yeah.
And all that in the hope that, you know, I mean, one of our colleagues was saying it on Friday. I think he used 500 naira, he was going to get about 70,000 naira. And you wonder, like, 500 naira to get 70,000 naira. You know, that's the dream.
That's gambling.
That's gambling.
And when you get addicted, you're addicted.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
You should avoid it.
So you just took Amira, right?
Yes.
I've got Leko from Idumu, and Leko says, I think Idimu, I beg your pardon. I think about financial decision is not paying off high interest loans or debt, leading to increased financial burden and reduced financial flexibility. That's a good one.
Yeah. I think that he refers to all those loan sharks.
Yeah.
You know, people these days borrow money to pay debt.
Gosh.
So when that particular debt is due, they borrow from somewhere else to pay, and it's a whole lot to take in. Let's move on. Ifoma from Lagos says, for me, a bad financial decision is not having a long-term financial plan or strategy, leading to financial instability and reduced financial security. Quite well said. I mean, not having a long-term financial plan is something that we need to consider. I mean, have a 5-year plan, 6 years, even 10 years plan. You know, whatever, no matter how small your business is, have a 5-year plan. Like, okay, this is what I want to be able to achieve in 5 years' time, and this is what I would do. Write it down on a paper so that you might come across, sometimes you come across free money. I call it free money. Someone will just come across something. And so if you have a list down, you'll be able to tick certain things off and take care of it. And as you progress, you find yourself ticking more things on that list. And before you know it, you're done with that list.
Wow. I got Femi from Lagos. Yeah. Femi says playing sporty bet is a bad financial decision. And then he says, but if you don't start, just continue like that. Okay. And that's Femi from
like no, that's a bad decision.
That's a bad advice.
But you know, Nigerians are really addicted to all these sport games and all that, because you know there's that belief that, oh, I can just use 200 naira to win 20,000 naira, 30,000 naira, and you know, people play that thing all day. I remember a friend of mine, that's what he does. He plays different types, not just the sport, he plays the lotto, he plays so many things. In the morning, he just goes, they call it a number, or collect number. There are some people who are good with numbers, so he collects a particular number. He goes to play that number, and by evening, he's probably smiling, or he's hoping that, okay, next day we'll play something else. And that's how it is. So most of the time, he ends up spending maybe like 5,000. And if he's lucky, he might get maybe like 50 to 70,000
because
that week.
I was going to ask you, does he make profits? Does he win?
Sometimes
he does.
But you know, the thing about it is that you could play for like 100 times before you win something. So and that's the illusion that drives people on, that okay, I played on Monday, I played on Tuesday, I played on Wednesday, I played on Thursday, and finally on Friday I won. Forgetting that all you spent Monday, Tuesday, Thursday
is more than what you win.
Do you understand? Gosh. So that's how people think.
Well, I got Jay Daniels from Lagos, and he says a bad financial decision is a poor choice or decision making in the area of finance. One of it is borrowing money to pay a loan. That's like Olumide said earlier on. One of it is borrowing money to pay a loan and taking a loan to pay a loan, and you are not producing anything that yields. Again, Jay Daniels from Lagos.
You know, me personally, I frown at taking loans, especially in our climes, because I mean, if you're going to take a loan, I think I would rather take a loan from a friend, whereby I don't have to pay with interest. Because going to bank these days, I mean, people are still complaining about the interest rate. I mean, you do not even want to try the loan sharks, because those ones will give you 7 days to pay 50% interest and all that. So I feel it's better if I go to someone who I'm well familiar with and say, oh, borrow me this loan, I'll pay you back at so time, and all that. But that's where we are.
So they say different strokes for different folks, yeah?
Exactly.
Well, that's where we're going to wrap it up on this segment. We'll take a short break. When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us.
Arrant, arrant, arrant.
You are welcome aboard. This segment is where we get to talk about topical issues, and today we'll take a look at policy analysis assessing the potential consequences of policy changes. In a short while, we'll be joined by guest analyst DME Saka. He is a public affairs analyst. In the meantime, just to give you a little background to what we're talking about, a policy analysis serves as a crucial tool in providing decision makers with a comprehensive understanding of the potential impacts of policy modifications. Now, by assessing the possible consequences of policy changes, analysts equip stakeholders with the necessary insights to make informed decisions. For example, was it wise for this incumbent president Tinubu, to remove fuel subsidy when he did? Right. Now, this process involves evaluating the effects of proposed policy adjustments on different sectors, communities, and the overall societal framework. Through this detailed examination, decision makers can anticipate and prepare for the multifaceted implications of implementing specific policies, engaging in thorough policy analysis and meticulously assessing the potential consequences of policy changes. Now, decision makers are better positioned to navigate the complex landscape of governance effectively. This analytical process enables stakeholders to anticipate the ripple effects of policy adjustments on various facets of society, the economy, and the environment. Now, through this proactive approach, decision makers can make informed choices that aim to optimize positive outcomes and mitigate potential negative repercussions. For example, Lomide, I know that analysts, experts in the field, economists, had said that having a functional refinery would have been perfect before the removal of fuel subsidy.
Yes, it goes without saying. I mean, it's like an old record. I mean, it's something that we
broken record. Yeah,
we all know, and I'm sure. Well, I don't know what's in the mind of the president, but I'm sure if he looks back, he would also be thinking that, oh, I wished I had not made that statement, that outburst he made on inauguration day and saying fuel subsidy is gone.
Yeah.
You know, but policy changes has affected everything, the nooks and crannies, everything that has to do with Nigeria. Policy changes has affected it. I mean, months back, it was the cyber security levy that really
rocked the nation,
angered Nigeria.
It had to be paused.
It had to be paused.
Yeah.
You know, so many things like that have come out, and one would think that I used to sometimes, you know, I imagine myself in Aso Rock in the midst of President Tinubu and his special advisors, and I begin to wonder, what are they telling him? Yes, he has special advisor. He has the best experts available. That would what he has to just to do is say, okay, I go with this, I go with this. Every step you want to take, you have advisors that will tell you, this is the outcome. This is what is going to happen. This is, oh, if you do like this. So yours is, okay, I think I'll go with this. I like the outcome of this. So my question now is that what is really going on? Because if that's what is going on, I mean, we should be having a lot of policy changes that are making positive effect in the economy. I mean, take for instance the Dangote refinery. I mean, this is something that Nigerians have been yearning for, and not of recent that he himself had to come out to say that, oh, people are actually frustrating him. Yeah. We've had so many. I mean, if you go on Google right now and type taxes, you have about 5 that people are paying, and you're wondering what. I mean, there's value-added tax, there's this tax, and you know, sometimes yes, the government, they give tax holidays to some business owners, entrepreneurs, and all that as some sort of an what do you call it? An incentive for them and all that. But that's not just enough. I mean, the interest rate is going up here and there. But I think yes, it's better late than ever. Yes, we've gotten some things wrong. But I think now we need to draw a step backward and see. Now it's 1 year, it's over a year now. Yeah. So I feel the president, his special advisors, let them go back to the drawing board, review all the policies they've rolled out from last year till now, and what were the outcomes. So what can we? Is it that we'll fine tune it or create a better one? Yeah. You can either fine tune or create a better one. Like for instance, the electricity hike. At a point, it was fine-tuned and reduced a bit to something lower. Yeah. So you can fine-tune it. You can also create a better one. I remember the whole palliative thing of about 8,000 naira for vulnerable Nigerians. And Nigerians kicked that. What is 8,000 or is it 10,000 naira going to do for for Nigerians? Then they came up with the rice and grain and all that. And, you know, we saw how that also went. So different, yes, this is not to say that the government don't have the people at heart. They don't have empathy for Nigerians. They do have empathy. President Tinubu has empathy, but it's just how he's implementing some of these policies. That's what is taking a toll on Nigerians.
In fact, he's been called by some analysts as an audacious president. But then again, like you said, implementation is what's the problem. I remember former President Olusegun Obasanjo had come out to say openly that good policies but bad implementation. So why are we having this discussion? Because when you have good policies, it fosters a more sustainable and equitable policy environment for all stakeholders involved. I remember our guest analyst, Adeni Ifeta, he was on the newspaper review segment earlier on today. He had said, when we had him as a guest on our sister channel, High Impact 102.1 FM, he had said Sweden is one of the most successful countries when it comes to governance. And he said the reason was because of stakeholder engagement. That there was constant engagement with the people. They come up with a policy, they ask the people, are you good? Are you game? And then they get feedback, see how it's working. And it has panned out well for them.
Even France, I mean, I heard the labor force in France, they dictate certain things in the economy. You can't just wake up today and say you want to do this, want to do that. The labor force there, they are very powerful. And, you know, and it's so interesting that our politicians, our leaders travel to these countries. They see what is going on. So why can't we, you know, replicate that? But let's welcome Deyemi Saka, a public affairs analyst, to the program. Good morning, and it's great to have you on the program.
Good morning, and my sincere apologies to you, uncles, and the audience out there. I'm not a very proud person. Sorry. I had a prior engagement that kept me beyond, and because there's a beautiful lady in the studio.
Wow.
I'll have the apology. Not you.
I'm left behind.
Apology accepted. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're talking about policy changes. So let me first start off. In all the policies that have been rolled out from last year to this year, which would you say was the most? Which would you rank? I wouldn't say worst, but which would you rank as a bad policy? Let me not say worst, because all the policies are good. So I'm trying to avoid saying the worst policy. But which would you say? No, this policy should not have even come into place.
So I want to ask you a question, because let's start by starting, because you're the uncle. I have to ask you a question. Sorry, what are the policies that have been in place? Can you call them policies?
That's $1 million question.
Well,
no, I'm not being mischievous.
I know.
I'll not help you.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen a few policies being rolled out. We've seen the subsidy, the fake or the false subsidy removal, because now it is obvious that they were just playing to the gallery. We've seen the floating of the naira.
Yes.
Which other thing have they done, please? We've seen, the procurement drive or the priority list of Mr. President or the presidency. So you look at all these things and tell yourself that these guys are just not ready, or they don't know what it means to be in office. Thank God. No, we're seeing a replication or a duplication of how he built Lagos in Abuja. Now, to now speak to subsidy, I've seen people come up with silly arguments saying, yes, we need a tough president. When he came on board and he made such pronouncements, he was being hailed by his Vuvuzelas, and we're like watching for how long this was going to take. And it didn't take like 6 months into that administration before we started questioning them. That it's all our questions the question we're asking was not found, established to be truth and factual, because if the landing cost of PMS is a huge higher than the cost at the pump, sorry, you please give me a while, please.
All right, no problem.
All right, we'll get you back. All right.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, are you okay now? Are you fine? Okay, I think we're having a little bit of, technicality, but I'm sure DME is going to work it out and join us again. He's a magician. Yeah, so in a short while, we're going to be asking him, what are the potential economic, social, and political consequences of implementing a universal basic income policy, and how might these consequences vary depending on the specific design and implementation of the policy? Well, that will be after he has answered your question. He started by being very sarcastic.
Yes. Which of them can you call it?
He asked, are there even policies? Are there any policies at all? But then he began by talking about the removal of fuel subsidy. And then he said it was even fake. He said it was playing to the gallery. Because there's been this back and forth about, the removal of subsidy, fuel subsidy. It's been shrouded in mystery. Was it removed, or is it a backdoor thingy? Stuff like that. In fact, I'm waiting with bated breath to have DMA come back as we dissect this issue more.
I even want to ask him, given all that happened, are we better off with fuel subsidy or fuel subsidy removal? I mean, looking at things now.
Because before this president came on board, he wasn't the only one who was going to remove,
Buhari did so.
Buhari did it, systematically, but at some point, he was going to do it, but he stopped. But then again, you had all these other presidential candidates, running up to the general election, saying that they were going to remove, subsidy, fuel subsidy. They were going to remove it, fuel subsidy. But the question is, just like your friend, Dr. Adedayo Kayode will say now, has anyone ever bothered to ask these other candidates how they were going to remove subsidy, fuel subsidy? Were they going to do it the way this president did it? These are questions that I would like to also ask DMA Saka, because I know he's got the answers to this.
I would also like to ask him, if we are going to remove fuel subsidy, what should have been put in place?
Absolutely. You know, we talked about it earlier on how some analysts had said, okay, before I continue, it's good to have you back, DME. So let's have you land. You were making a point. Let's have you land before we start bombarding you with all these questions we have for you.
No, I heard all the questions and I can also lump it into my response, you know.
Okay.
As we're having the flow. Firstly, I think it's obvious that there was you mentioned Buhari trying removing subsidy. He did at some point. You know, we've had an non-patriotic National Assembly, because when it comes to subsidy removal, they are so-called under recovery and what have you. It borders on section 80 to 81 of the Constitution, public revenue. And for what we've seen from day one from days of Buhari to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a brazen disregard to that section of the Constitution. And the Constitution is not a collection of ideas or suggestions. It's our law, and it's an impeachable offense. The first instance was you cannot spend you can't spend any money if it's not captured under budgetary allocation under the Appropriation Act. But we've seen them come up with a lot of now the NNPC Limited was said to have used the proceeds or the receipts of dividends from the Nigerian liquefied natural gas to pay for subsidy September, October last year. Against section 80 subsection 2 or thereabout of the Constitution that says everything must go to the Federation account. All revenue, everything must go to revenue. Then you cannot spend based on budgetary estimates sent to the National Assembly and approved as an Appropriation Act. So that is one. Two, when you say market forces to determine the price by removal of subsidy, what are you doing? To be a partaker or to be a part of an influencer of the market forces? You don't have a refining capacity. And you're removing subsidy. So whether you like it or not, your people will be at the mercy of the marketers. And whether you like it or not, these people are not charity organizations. They are here to make profits. They are the cost of production, they are the selling price. They are the selling price. Even if they don't try to improve or increase their profit margin, they want to sustain it. That is one. Secondly, it is infuriating. It is so intellectually infuriating, so highly unintelligent. I'm sorry for my French, so imbecilic. For anybody to come forward and tell me that the subsidy is benefiting few Nigerians, so because of that it has to go. That means you are punishing hundreds of millions of people because of people probably are not up to 100 or probably 200. So if you are so sure that it's not benefiting Nigerians and you know it's just benefiting the few, and the few you know, please, how many arrests has been made since last year? Those guys are called terrorists. How many of them has been prosecuted? How many of them has made a refund? Saudi Arabia Aramco is not second into the Russia-Ukraine war. 6 months into Russia-Ukraine crisis, Saudi Aramco, that's the state-owned company in Saudi Arabia, had made $80 billion beyond the projected income for that year, as of August. And the $80 billion through excess that was made was now plowed back into the Society for Social Security.
Yeah.
Please. So what does it make any sense for you to say you don't have to pay subsidy? Where is the money? There is no money to pay subsidy. We bought a private jet, which is even now being debated that it was inflated. You got a yacht. You completed the vice president residence. You've done a lot of jamborees. You went to COP with so much delegates. You've been junketing around, and there's no budget. Meanwhile, the first lady is planting tomatoes, harvesting ugu, as if everybody is going to plant the seasoning we're going to use to cook. You're going to plant the cooking gas. So it's you're telling us to tighten our seatbelts. You are losing yours because you are getting fatter.
You know, you just opened a can of worms. You talked about the purchase of the presidential jet. You remember the National Assembly had said it did not give approval for the purchase of that particular jet. You know,
somebody should stop the president notice of impeachment. It's a breach of the constitution. It amounts to gross misconduct. I'm not saying impeach the president, but see, when you start pushing things like that to test the system, you put them in check.
Yeah.
The president gave a directive to EFCC. EFCC now said they donated or probably contributed 50 billion naira to NEFON. Please, on whose authority? The fund has to be returned to the Federation account. And when somebody calls himself a father of all Democrats, that has been said to be a Democrat all his life, there's no democracy without you respecting your constitution.
Right?
$1 billion.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You know, you see, from the impression I get is the removal of subsidy leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So this is my, yeah. This is my last question. Yeah, this is my last question to you. How do you undo a bad policy?
You see, some of us have people in this administration that we even talk to, as much as we get critical of them, we kept saying it's our own. And I kept saying, there's no need to be boasting, thumping your chest or showing off.
Yeah.
Reverse that policy. And you know, by the time you reverse the policy, and I'll tell you this, I'm not trying to be, and this me jumping around. Sorry that I'm jumping around a lot of issues. There's an imminent food crisis coming up next year. You know that if it doesn't start by October, November. And you ask yourself, what is happening? Is it God or the universe that is conspiring against this administration? There's no rain in southern Nigeria. Rain has stopped. In northern Nigeria, where they've planted before now, there's massive flooding, especially in those Nigerian states. Kebbi, Zamfara, Bauchi, Yobe, Jigawa. Flooding. Benue, Plateau, no rain. Southern Nigeria, no rain. Please, where are we going to get the food from? And it's so bad that we can't even get food from Cotonou, from Togo, Benin Republic, because their currency is now stronger than ours. So it doesn't make sense for them to come and make profit here. So all this, and now let's now talk about the subsidy removal. There was a need for them to have reversed it. We lost social programs and what have you, but there's no Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. I know we don't know where the probe or the investigation will lead us into. So we don't even know the kind of social investment program or intervention it was. And you have to go for whatever we say about President Jonathan. If they went after some people that mischievously or corruptly profited from the subsidy regime. I had a friend that did time for how he handled the subsidy thing, Farouk Lawan.
You know, DME, I'm going to ask you to come on board and tell us about your friend Farouk Lawan in a short, maybe some other time. But we've got to wrap this up. Thank you. You were brilliant on the show as usual. Thank you so much for being a part of the morning show.
You're welcome. Thanks for always having, and thanks for the patience. Yeah. For you, with you, I'm okay. For him, we settle ourselves as men.
And that's it.
Thank you so much, DME. It's always interesting having a conversation with him. But we've got to take a short break now, right? When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Because we have to take some major decisions here, some staff who are affected, face disciplinary measures, and that whole unit went through some kind of review. But by and large, we cannot have in our midst people who procure certificates, fake certificates, and come to compete with our students who graduated from the universities and polytechnics through their sweat. Some spending 4, 5, 6 or more years and going out to compete with people who simply procure the certificate right here without going anywhere for a lot of them. So what the fake now approved is through the data which NYSC has, about 21,684 students are parading fake certificates from Benin Republic, obtained between 2019 to 2023. Togo, about 1,105. How did that happen? They simply attended schools which are not recognized by their countries, by those countries. Remember, this point is extremely important. The recognition itself is in those countries, or non-recognition is in those countries. They are not institutions recognized to offer degree programs in those countries.
The minister appealed to the Central Bank of Nigeria to release funds meant for scholars on the bilateral education agreement since it was processed 1 month ago.
Yes, the video you just watched, it's a shocking revelation of certificate degrees that has been, oh wow, that was procured. Yeah, and it's quite sad. You know, earlier on you were saying that Nigeria used to be the bane of education, and it's so sad that Nigerians have gone as far as or close by Togo, Benin Republic, and all that just to seek better education, and to now find out after years that these degrees or certificates are fake.
Almost 33,000.
33,000.
And then the thing is, these schools, these institutions are not recognized by their own country. Now, so I'm thinking, do these people know that these institutions are not recognized and they still go ahead? You know? Lots of questions now.
It's lots of questions because, I mean, you going from a particular country to another country, of course, you might be limited to the information you have. Unlike if it's in Nigeria, I mean, if it's in Nigeria, you can equally just go onto the National University Commission site and check approved universities, accredited universities and all that. But, you know, traveling out of the country to another particular country where you probably don't even know their way of life.
But the who is going to another country to do your research, Olumide, would you go to another country to school without doing carrying out adequate research? You must have it down pat to know what you're getting into. I think we'll have comments. I'm waiting to see what the comments are going to be like.
Sometimes, even I remember when I was in my school, some courses were disaccredited. I know law was disaccredited in my school, but later, I remember a friend of mine who had gotten to 500 level and it was disaccredited. He later graduated, I think was converted to international relations. It was so sad. I mean, this is someone who left another university to come study law in my school. When he got to 500 level, we were disaccredited.
but your school is recognized by your country.
Yes.
In this case, these institutions are not even recognized by their country. That's the thing.
That's the thing. And I think, well, just like you said, it behooves whoever is planning to study in certain, especially outside the country, to do thorough diligence.
And do you know some people go into this thing with their eyes open wide? Some people just want to cut corners. They just want to have a certificate. And some people just want to say, I went outside the country, outside Nigeria, regardless of the fact that it's Benin Republic or Togo. You know, do we have comments? Let's find out what people are saying. Though.
You know, I'm just worried about the people who have probably gotten to maybe managerial levels or directors and now having to find out that the degree or certificate is fake. It's costly. It's costly. I mean, the funds invested, so much was invested. Only I saw in the papers also they are investigating, even in the civil service, those with those fake certificates will be removed wherever they are, and they are also, you know, sending a message to the public, also to private owners, to also check to ensure that some of these some of their employees are not, you know, in a possession of fake degrees.
And kudos to the authorities for discovering this.
Yes.
And I do hope they block all loopholes, that this trend doesn't continue, actually.
Exactly.
All right, this is where we get to take a break, and then we get to take a look at the weather forecast. And when we come back, we'll wrap things up. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and we just had the weather forecast. It seems that Lagos, you might want to have a raincoat, umbrella, or a cardigan nearby, just in case, you know, the weather changes and we have some heavy downpour. But this is where we get to call it a wraps on the breakfast show this morning. Like I usually say, it takes a village to get this show up and running. So a big thank you to all our producers, directors, technical crew, the vision makers, everyone that took part to make sure that this show is a success. But a bigger thank you is to you tuning in and streaming from all across all social media platforms. Let's do this again tomorrow. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all our social media pages at High Impact Studios, at High Impact TV, and the Breakfast Cafe _. Have yourself a lovely day.
Well, Olumide said it all. I have nothing else to add. So I'll just say have yourself a fantastic day ahead. I am Vivian Oguche. Bye.